a nigger. He's a nigger. He's a nigger. Oh my God. A nigger, look at a nigger.
Life in the early 2000s. There was a lot of that going around. Paula Deen, Don Imus, and a few years later, Donald Sterling. They were all involved in race-based controversies. This video isn't what you guys think it is. It's not about race. It's about class. Yes, class. It's about rich versus poor. It's about the rich taking advantage of the poor. And yes, race is a component of that. But there are unethical people, black and white, in this video. So check it out. You're going to be amazed at what you see. I guarantee it. Of course, you notice the AOL running man. That's for a good reason. AOL is a big part of this video. Now, when they were AOL Time Warner, an individual contacted AOL Time Warner because they noticed that their site was the only site that made all black people synonymous with the N-word. So they contacted them and wrote them a PR letter, and they garnered a fee. And I will show you that letter. What happened was AOL cheated them. First, we're going to take a look at the video that started the whole thing. This is the AOL site in 2002. The word nigger was typed in. And you see, Martin Luther King is there. Notice Elijah Muhammad. Great ruins of Zimbabwe. So this individual wrote the executive board of AOL Time Warner. See, Martin Luther King. And my purpose as a consultant forecaster is to advise corporations for a fee. So it's known this individual isn't just giving away information to a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. If they felt it was important, they have to pay for it. This is an American great, the late great George Carlin. He's going to break it down for us about our adversaries. Yes, our adversaries. Because the people that this video is exposing, they're billionaires. So unless you're one of the 1%, you're with us, okay?
Wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right.
This is one of the people that George Carlin was talking about. This is billionaire Kenneth Lehrer. L-E-R-E-R. He disenfranchises the poor. He's a part owner of the New York Mets. This guy should be kicked out of baseball. Major League Baseball knows about him. I'll prove it. This is a letter written to the Commissioner of Baseball, Rob Manfred, on February 20th, 2024. And let's go up to this paragraph right here. Major League Baseball is harboring the white supremacist who orchestrated a racist cover-up. I believe you know who I am writing about. I wrote to you about him a few years ago. The person I am talking about is Kenneth Lehrer of the New York Mets. Manfred knows about it. He's protecting this guy. Now, Rob Manfred, you are the commissioner of baseball. It's your job to tell the other owners that you have a bad apple in the bunch, because he can truly ruin everybody. In fact, he will. When people start boycotting baseball because you guys are racist, there's going to be nobody to blame, nobody else to blame, except yourself. Feel free to contact the commissioner of baseball. Here's his address: 1271 Avenue of the Americas, New York, New York, 10020. Phone 212-931-7800. You have to make unpopular decisions as the commissioner of baseball. That's what this guy did back in the early 20th century when the Chicago White Sox threw the 1919 World Series. Judge Landis here, the original commissioner of baseball, he threw out the good players with the bad. And when I say the good players, I'm talking about this guy here. This is Buck Weaver. Let's take a look at the film 8 Men Out, and you'll understand a little bit more about Buck.
The fact that I never took a penny hasn't been brought up once. I had 327 in this series. I didn't make an error. I'm being charged for a conspiracy I didn't have nothing to do with.
Sit down, Mr. Weaver. I'm going to have to hold you in contempt of this court.
Come on, Buck, sit down. Nobody's interested in your batting average.
All the players were acquitted, but it really didn't matter.
Regardless of the verdict of juries, no player who throws a ball game, no player who undertakes or promises to throw a game, no player who sits in conference with a bunch of crooked players and gamblers where the ways and means of throwing a ball game are discussed,
Like Buck Weaver.
and does not promptly tell his club about it, will ever play professional baseball again.
What's the difference? Manfred knows this guy is crooked, and he's doing nothing about it. This is Kwame Kilpatrick. He used to be the mayor of Detroit over 20 years ago. Now, our freelancing public relations representative saw that AOL Time Warner was cheating, and he knew that there was no way he could win. No way. It's just impossible to beat a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate when you're just a poor individual trying to make a way. So he figured you got to fight power with power. He figured the mayor of Detroit was honest. He wasn't. Turns out, Kwame Kilpatrick was a fraudster and racketeer, and he was jailed for years and was supposed to still be jailed for years, up until at least 2045. But ex-president Donald Trump gave him a presidential pardon, and now he's out. Kwame, this is for you, pal. Get into the light and join us. Now, what you are about to see is a black op cover story. This is something that you've never ever seen before. I guarantee it. Okay? Now, this date, October 11th, 2002, is extremely important. Okay? Now, let's read this. Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, CEO of Detroit Public Schools, Dr. Kenneth Stephen Burnley, who's now deceased, and America Online announce partnership to use AOL at school citywide. Okay, now I'm going to read a paragraph that proves that this is a black op cover story, which means every word of it is made up. It's fake. It's false. Mayor Kilpatrick made the announcement today at the Detroit Technology Summit's ribbon-cutting ceremony. You know what's missing, folks? You know about the 5 W's, right? Who, what, why, where, when. You have everything represented except where. Where is the Detroit Technology Summit? There is no where because it never happened. This press release, everything in it is totally and completely false. There was never a Detroit Technology Summit. And this date is important, and let me show you why. This is a big event for the Detroit Public Schools. Now, this is their press releases, okay? News and press releases, Detroit Public Schools, okay? This is for 2002. Let's take a look at this. September 29th, October 14th. In the middle there is supposed to be October 11th. There's no entry for October 11th. Why? Because nothing happened. That's a fake cover story. It's called a black op. And they created this black op to disenfranchise one person. And the person who did it was Ken Lehrer. We're not done yet. City of Detroit press releases, 2002. September 25th, October 17th. In between is supposed to be that big event on October 11th, 2002. It's not there. Why? Because it never happened. Contact the Detroit News, the Detroit Free Press, WWJ News Radio 950, Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, that's WXYZ, Channel 7, WDIV, Channel 4, and Fox 2 in Detroit, and ask them to look back in their archives, and I guarantee all of them will tell you nothing happened on that date. With AOL at school, the City of Detroit, and the Detroit Public Schools. Nothing happened. In fact, AOL at school doesn't even exist. They made that up too. I'll show you. But before I do, I have to go to the last page of this press release. Important information, vital information that proves the cover-up. Because we're going to start exposing people other than Ken Lehrer. Lehrer's boy is Billy Kinney. He doesn't work for America Online. Not at all. And let's take a look. AOL at school. So Billy Kinney has AOL at school all over this press release. He's the one who wrote it. It proves it right there. Contact info, Billy Kinney, America Online. Let's see Billy Kinney. This is Billy Kinney. Ken Lehrer's boy. He's the one that was given the assignment of disenfranchising poor people. This is the guy. Let's take a look at his resume. Here's the LinkedIn page for Billy Kinney. Currently, he works for ByteDance. Okay, but let's go back about 20 years and see who he worked for. On that press release, you would think that he worked for America Online. It's not true. He was a senior vice president for Robinson, Lehrer, and Montgomery. He worked for Ken Lehrer, managed several areas of the firm's flagship account, America Online. Flagship account. So they gave it specifically to Ken Lehrer to disenfranchise. What else? Execution of corporate and crisis communications. Crisis communications strategies. We got to go back and take a look at the original letter. Take a look at this. This is the original letter. AOL must act quickly and quietly to solve this problem. The only way to avert potential disaster is to recognize it and nip it in the bud. Here's the last page of the letter. There you have it. A potential negative situation has been turned into a positive. I have identified a problem, averted a catastrophe, saved AOL millions, and solved the problem, and identified new marketing strategies. Now, this individual did all of this for AOL, and they created a black op cover story just to cheat them and not pay? That's insane. The last sentence, if the board feels that my information is worthless, make no changes and simply send nothing. Well, that's not the case. AOL made big time changes. And they also sent nothing. They cheated this person. See what I mean, folks? This isn't black versus white. This is rich versus poor. This could happen to any one of you people. That's why these individuals have to be boycotted. And we're going to get to that later on in the video. A cover-up has been proven, folks. What are we going to do?
Mad, you son of a bitches, get mad! Mad, you son of a bitches, get mad!
Ken Lear and his boy, Billy Kinney, couldn't disenfranchise poor people unless they had the backing of a major mayor of a big city like Kwame Kilpatrick and the NAACP. This is Anson Asaka, an attorney for the NAACP. Let me show you a letter from him. This letter is from the NAACP. This letter is the biggest bunch of BS I've ever read. The NAACP receives thousands of letters expressing political, social, and policy concerns regarding events in our nation, consistent with our financial condition and the obligations of our staff regarding ongoing activities and other commitments. Letters of concern are reviewed and answered to the extent possible. Like, what does that mean? You know what it means? Absolutely nothing. Yours truly, Anson C. Asaka. Everyone knows the NAACP is suspect. Take a look at this.
As a African American.
Josh.
Yes.
You do not have to say African American, just say black.
Oh, good.
Oh, well, in that case, you know what word I miss? Colored.
What's happening?
What's up? No.
What's up?
No, I just...
Okay, Mr. Stevens, that word is offensive and reminiscent of a not-so-great time in American history. So let's all just take it down a notch. Maybe reholster our firearms. Charles?
In that case, maybe someone should tell that to the NAACP.
You got a point?
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
You know that been sending mixed messages for a long time.
Yes, very funny, but it's also very true. And it's newsworthy, ABC. Let's see what happened with all of the individuals who used the N-word. They all apologized.
I'm sorry that...
I beg for your forgiveness.
Was thoughtless and stupid. So, and we're sorry.
Billionaire Donald Sterling, not so much.
Donald Sterling public apology. First up, Magic Johnson.
Big Magic Johnson. What has he done?
Well, he's a business person.
He's got AIDS.